and we went into another. That is the reason I'm through. We had 6 Duchin Doris's, then sang a chorus. Just listen, I'll sing it to you. I belong to Glasgow, dear old Glasgow town. There's nothing in being teetotal and saving a shilling or two. If your money you spend, you've nothing to lend. Isn't that all the better for you? There's nae harm in taking a drappie. It ends all your troubles and strife, and it gives you the feeling that when you land home, well, you don't care a hang for your life.
Walk home.
Middle of the 1700s and back to a year 1746, and way up in northern Scotland near Inverness there was a battle that took place. It's known as the Battle of Culloden. The Battle of Culloden took place between 2 warring armies. On one side of the battlefield there were the Jacobite Highland Army. Essentially, if you think about the indigenous Celtic people I was talking about, the kilt wearing, bagpipe playing, Gaelic speaking Highland Scots. And the Highland Army, under a man by the name of Bonnie Prince Charlie, lost, and they lost heavily. The Highlanders liked to fight with sword, shield and dagger, close hand-to-hand fighting. Whereas the British Army on the other side of the battlefield had muskets and cannons and things like that, and just blew the Highlanders away. Within about an hour or so of the battle commencing, around about 2,000 of the Highlanders had already lost their lives. Many of the others, as they saw the way it was going, started to flee and started to get away from the battle. You take the high road and I'll take the low road, but I'll be in Scotland before you. Now what he was saying to his brother was that tomorrow, brother, you're about to go free, you're about to walk back to Scotland, you're going to take the high road, the road of life, and walk back to Scotland. But not me. Tomorrow I'm going to be executed, tomorrow I'm going to be dead. But as soon as I'm dead, my soul will be taken and transported immediately back to Scotland, for I am going to take the low road, the road of death. The letter that became story, the story that became song, and this is the song I'm now going to play for you. As I say, it's called Loch Lomond. It's not really about the loch at all, is it?
The sun shines down above Lomond, but we are like true love will never meet again on the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. He'll take the high road and I'll take the low road. I'll be in Scotland alone, but he and my true love will never meet again on the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Was never in Loch Lomond. The sun shines down on Loch Lomond. On me and my true love will never meet again. On the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Oh, ye, when me and my true love will never meet again. On the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
But in many respects, it's a typical story of Scotland and Scotland's history. Because there is hardly a single story from Scotland's past that doesn't end up with at least somebody being hacked to pieces horribly at the end of it. And in many instances, many people being killed horribly and brutally at the end of it. So a very typical story. But we've turned away from Loch Lomond there and over towards another loch here. And Loch Long are quite different though. Loch Lomond is an inland freshwater loch. The water streaming down off the mountains, rainfall, melting snow and ice, etc. Whereas Loch Long here is actually an inlet of the sea. So this is salt water, seawater, tidal water. And if you went all the way down to the bottom of Loch Long there, it takes you out eventually into the open ocean and the Irish Sea and then the Atlantic Ocean. And this is where the naval base is for the nuclear submarines, and this is where all the big nuclear warheads are all kept down there as well. So we're not far away from nuclear Britain at the moment. Now, there is a little bit, Thomas and I were chatting a little bit snow on the mountains, and there is a little bits of it. You can see that there are little bits in some of the mountains a bit slightly more than others, but there's nothing like the normal amount of snow that we would normally get at this time of year. It would normally be total whiteout everywhere, all across the land here and all across the mountains. But as I said earlier, it has been quite a mild winter as well, so we're not quite getting the snow, and therefore the skiing season, the ski centres are not fully opened yet, which is a little bit disappointing. But apparently we've got an Arctic blast of weather coming in to get us in the next few days, so winter might get properly underway. Here's a little bit more music. We're going to stop it. as you can see and as you can feel, we're climbing up towards the mountains. A huge amount of work has been done on the hillside. This is quite a dangerous hillside. There's been a lot of landslips and landslides over the years, so they've done a lot of work to try and shore it up a little bit. But for those that are on the left hand side, if you look down into the glen down in the middle there, you'll see there's a little road going up through the middle of it, and this was an old military road, and the old military road was built back in the start of the 1700s by the military so that they could get soldiers from one place to another very quickly. And it lends its name to this little point. I'm going to stop just at the top here to get some views down the middle of the glen. As I say, this road down the middle here, it was built by... August, I don't think you get to see Scotland in the way that it's meant to be, because there are just so many people and so many camper vans and big coaches and tour vans and things going around that you don't really get the true sense of. And things like that. This is Scotland. It's funny, you were talking about kilts earlier on. So when you go back through the years in Highland Scotland, how they wore kilts and plaids all those years is just absolutely crazy. It really is mental. Okay, what we're going to do now, something else was happening around about this same period, well maybe even a couple of hundred years beforehand. The Angles, a Germanic tribal people from Central Europe, had invaded and raided across into Britannia. And there were various different kingdoms that started to form down in the southern part of Britain, and kingdoms like Mercia and Northumberland, various different places that England formed as a united country, and it was under one of the kings of Mercia, Athelstan, who brought it all together. So Athelstan created the very first united England down in the southern part of Britain, and Constantine was the king up here in the northern part of Scotland, or Scotland as it became known. So this all happened over that couple of hundred years. The chief of the Campbells still lives there today, but he's not got that same power over the people that the clan chief used to have all those years ago. It's more of a ceremonial title these days. But as well as being the chief of the clan of Cam, being a duke means that you're a very important person indeed, and very rich and famous, and very good connections to the upper echelons of British society. So this is the little village of Inveraray. This was very much in the stronghold of the Campbells. Now, Inveraray Castle is where the Campbells live today. Now, as I said earlier, though, the castle is actually closed at this time of year, but you will be able to get a view of it. You can see it just through the trees there on the right hand side. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go up and over the Humpback Bridge here. If anybody wants to get a...
Inveraray. Reasonably cold winters. Snow in the hills, not a lot, but downtown.
But died a short time later, also hearing today that not only is this hit the community hard, but people who don't even know the family have also
trees. And these ancient people up here, these Celtic people, even for the Romans, were just too crazy and too mental for the Romans to cope with. So about 25 years or so, they said, forget it, we're coming back down south again. And what they did is they built a wall. Now Scotland and England weren't there at the time, but they built a wall which is very close to what the Scotland and England border is today. Just on the edge of the map here at the little place of Carlisle, and going directly across, horizontally across the country towards Newcastle, is Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian was the Roman emperor who was on the throne. But George R.R. Martin, who wrote Game of Thrones, took his inspiration for this from Hadrian's Wall, because the Romans were keeping out the crazy people beyond it. As I say, they called it the land of Caledonia. So what I'll do is put on this other little song now, and this song is called Caledonia.
About you all the time. Caledonia, you caught me. Now I'm going home. If I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Points that I needed proving, lost the friends that I needed losing, found others on the way. I've kissed the ladies and left them crying, stolen dreams, yes, there's no denying. I've travelled hard sometimes with conscience flying, somewhere with the wind. Let me tell you that I love you, but I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you called me, now I'm going home. If I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Now I'm sitting here before the fire, the empty room, the forest choir. The flames that couldn't get any higher, well, they've withered now, they've gone. But I'm steady thinking, my way is clear, and I know what I will do tomorrow. When the hands are shaking and the kisses flow, well, I will disappear. Let me tell you that I love you, but I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you called me, and now I'm going.
quite unique. There are 3 pipes to it, essentially coming down. There's a couple of reasons why it's unique. One of them is that it's actually built into the hillside, and the actual turbines are about a mile inside the mountain. It's called the Hollow Mountain. And but they use 2 of the pipes to cascade the water down in order to go into the turbines and generate electricity. But there's another one that takes water back up the way. So when the electricity is required, you know, early evening time when everybody's cooking and getting in from work and things, huge amount more electricity, then what they do is they've got it running at full capacity. But during the day or during down periods, what they do is they cascade water back up the pipes. It's very much focused on trying to tap into the renewables energy as much as we possibly can. Now, the way that the politics work in the UK at the moment is we've got the Westminster Parliament that run the entire United Kingdom. But up here in Scotland we have a devolved Parliament that has certain powers to rule certain parts of the country in certain aspects. It doesn't have full autonomous powers, but it can run the country in certain ways. And the Scottish Parliament, based in Edinburgh, have got a target in place in producing that 100% of its electricity requirements by renewables. And there are 3 elements to this. One of them is hydroelectric, which has been in place for many years. Another one is wind power. As you can see today, lots of wind here in Scotland, on the west coast of Scotland. And the third element of it is, again, to do with the west coast of Scotland and tapping into the tidal power and wave power, particularly out on the west coast. Now, the Scottish Parliament are committed to this, and they're driving forward with this push for renewables. But over the last couple of years, they've been in conflict with the Westminster Parliament, because Westminster Parliament are moving away from renewables and away from subsidies and away from investment into renewables, and they are very much backing and going behind the process of fracking and nuclear power. So just over the last couple of years they have announced that this big new nuclear plant is going to be built significantly down in the opposite direction. But come back to Scotland in 2020 and see if we've managed this 100% figure. So if we do manage to do that over the course of the entire 12-month year, then what a story that will be. That would be fantastic. Tell you so many miles to get there, but just above it in yellow or sometimes green will be that same place name in the Gaelic language. So I'll put on another few songs, traditional songs in the Gaelic language. little tunes in the Gaelic language, traditional little songs, and a few different artists that are going about Scotland at the moment and have been for the last 10-20 years or so. But it's taken us in towards Oban, and we're going to be down in Oban in just a few minutes time. Now, as I say, we're going to stop down here for lunch, and there's a few different restaurants and bars and little coffee shops and various different things to explore down in Oban. And given the way the weather is at the moment, it might be a good idea to get yourself indoors somewhere. Now, there are various places. There's where I'm going to drop you is down by the harbour side, and there's a couple of nice restaurants. A little pub restaurant just down by the side of it as well, which is it's a Wetherspoons pub. Wetherspoons are a kind of big pub chain in the whole of the UK actually, and they do kind of a standard pub crowd, but you can get something decent, you know, for £7 or £8, £6 or £7 with you know, a bite to eat and drink. And Antoban is in the Gaelic language means the little bay. And as we come round the corner here and down in towards Oban, you see that it is a little bay down here at the bottom of the hill, and it's also one of the main ports for ferries for the boats to go out to the outer islands over to the likes of Mull and Tybee and beyond. With the wind today, I wouldn't imagine many of the sailings would have went, if any. But this is one of the main ports if you are looking to get out into the outer islands. Antoban, little bay, but in the English language, in the spoken language, we call it Oban. There's also a whisky distillery down here as well, right in the heart of the town. We go past it, I'll show you in minutes if you want to have a look in at the distillery. Now that is about 5 minutes to 1, so what we'll do is we'll be here just under an hour and a half. If we look to leave here at 20 minutes past 2, 2:20, then what we'll do is we'll then head out onto the afternoon, and given the light at this time of year, I'm keen to get to Glencoe and Rannochmoor, a little bit further north for you. Beautiful areas. I want to make sure we get there before the light finally departs. So here
Oban on a cold winter's day. Oban on a very cold, windy Scottish winter's day.
regiments within the British Army each have their pipes and drums and band attached. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a couple of tunes by the military band, regimental band of the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards. And I'm hands up who wants me to stop so we can go out and go for a little walk down by the water. Well, as we turn back inland here, we are coming in, and this is another inlet of the sea which is called Loch Leven, L-E-V-E-N, Loch Leven. And Loch Leven takes us in past the little village of Ballachulish, and we're going to make a very quick little stop. Now Ballachulish, as I say, the little village just 2 miles away, and we're going to stop in at Ballachulish, as I say, for toilets if anybody wants to grab themselves a little coffee or something. Ballachulish was very famous for its slate quarrying, and the Campbell soldiers to come down into Glencoe and await further instruction. So down they came in early February 1692. Chapped on the door of the McDonald's, living here in Glencoe, asking for shelter and food for the men. Now Highland hospitality decreed that if you asked in a respectful manner, then your wish would be granted. So despite the fact that the Campbells and McDonalds were sworn enemies of each other, the Campbells were invited into the homes of the McDonalds, slept in their beds, ate their meat, drank their whiskey and wine for 12 days, till eventually the orders came through from King William. And the orders read, Lift up your sword and leave none alive under the age of 70. The McDonald's in 3 separate places, up and down the middle of the glen here. And when the signal went at 7 o'clock in the morning, they started to murder the McDonalds as they lay in their beds, starting with the chief and his immediate family. Now this was a horrible, terrible event. If they had went into open battle with each other, nobody would have raised an eyebrow. It happened all the time. But this was murder, and it was murder in the name of the king. It was even worse. Now 38 McDonalds lost their lives that day directly at the sword point of the Campbells, which was bad enough. But if you look down, look at Glencoe here, we're right at the very bottom of it. As the screams and the cries and the shouts went up, people started to realise what was happening and started to flee away from this massacre. There was nowhere to go. Look where you could go. Nowhere, up into the mountains. And this was a cold, snowy, blizzardy February morning.
In the morning, slow showers. As I said to the guys, you take your chance, don't you? Yeah, but it's nice like this. It's like you can't always have the blue skies.
I tell you what, I just kind of doesn't matter what it's like. It's just so powerful place, it really is. Caravans and camper vans and all manner of everything, and 100 different people milling around, and at least just coming round here. But during times when it's really wet, that waterfall that's there is absolutely cascading all over the rocks there. So even though it's it's cold at the moment, there's some melting snow and ice. There has been a little bit of rainfall the last couple of days. It's the water levels are still nothing like the way that they can be in times of heavy. Another little song, and this little song talks about and tells us the story of the McDonalds and the Campbells. This is called The Massacre of Glencoe.
And covers a grave and cruel was the fall that raped Glencoe, and murdered the house of gold. They came in a blizzard, we offered them heat, a roof for their heads, dry shoes for their feet. We wined them and dined them, they ate all our meat, and they slept in the house of gold. Oh, cruel is the snow that sweeps Glencoe, and covers the grave of dawn. And cruel is the fall that raped Glencoe, and murdered the house of gold. They came from Fort William, we murder in mind. The Campbell had orders, King William had signed. It's all to the song, these words underlined, and leave none alive called McDonald. Oh, cruel is the snow that sweeps Glencoe, and covers the grave of dawn. And cruel was the fall that raped Glencoe, and murdered the house of gold. They came in the night when the men were asleep, this band of Argyles, through snow soft and deep, like murdering foxes among helpless sheep. They slaughtered the house of gold.
Oh, cruel is the snow that sweeps Glencoe and covers the great O'Donnell. And cruel was the fall that raped Glencoe and covered the house of O'Donnell. Some died in their beds at the hand of the foe, some fled in the night, were lost in the snow. Some lived to accuse him, was struck the first blow, but gone was the house of O'Donnell. And cruel was the foe that raped Glencoe and murdered the house of O'Donnell. Oh, cruel is the snow that sweeps Glencoe and covers the great O'Donnell. And cruel was the foe that raped Glencoe and murdered the house.
It was hailstoning a little bit earlier on, but this is actual snow that's beginning to fall now. Not quite lying. Charlene, was it yourself that was saying that you've not...
I said, I'm like, Charlene, that's snow, just like, what that's snow.
Right, let me see if I can stop just a little bit along so that you can... I'm not sure there's enough to make a snowball, but you can maybe try. So. Now, what you would be looking at here, if you could see anything, would coming out of the mountains, the top end of the mountains, and just over a vast area called Ranach Moor, but visibility is not particularly great at the moment. But let me see if I can stop just a little bit along, see if we can get a snowball for Charlie. Across the White Mountains. So this is Ranach Moor, and it's about sort of 50 square miles or so of open marshland. Really, that's all it is. You can see it's a very bleak place, hardly any growth at all, very marshy, and a huge amount of water lying in the moor and in the glen here. So I'll put on this little song. This is another one, slightly old version of Scotland the Brave. I played a musical version of it earlier on, but this is an actual song version of it, and it talks more about loving the country. Land of the high endeavour, land of the shining river, land of my heart forever, Scotland the Brave. Here we go.
Well, the night is falling, hear the pipes are calling, Lottie is calling down to the glen, where the hills are sleeping now, feel the battle leaping high as the spirits of our old Highland. Now we began in Scotland, my mountain king, mighty and proud, stand that gloriously way, land of the high and level, land of the shining favour, land of my heart forever, Scotland the Brave. Out in sunlit places, sad our Scottish faces, yearning to feel the kiss of sweet Scottish rain, where tropic skies are beaming, love sets my heart with dreaming, longing and dreaming for the whole land again. Coming and gallant Scotland, my mountain king, I may the proud stand as
Well, I do the various different day tours, so up to the likes of Loch Ness.
Do this one first to see how she likes it.
And then from there over into the Trossachs, you know, around about Canada and Aberfoyle.
Canada and Aberfoyle over there.
Aye, and that's lovely over there. And then down to Balmaha, out for a walk at Balmaha, and then Glencoe. Aye, and I mean, you know some of the views, of course, so it's absolutely, it does takes people.
Now this was originally a drover's house. I'm here before the Jacobite Rebellion.
When does it date back to?
1705.
Is it? All blank sign, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.